This is Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel with an update on day 2 of the campfire. It's Friday the 9th of November, about 4:30 p.m. Sunset's not for another 45 minutes away, but it looks like sundown right now because the wind has changed and the smoke is back on top of us. As of today, the campfire has exploded over 70,000 acres. They're reporting 2,000 structures lost, and they're also reporting about 90 to 95% of the town of Paradise, California has been destroyed. Now those structure numbers are going to increase dramatically once they can get in there and actually figure out what they've actually lost. If 90% of a town with a population of 26,000 has been destroyed, those structure numbers are going to jump up to something over 10,000. There's been 5 fatalities so far, and I believe they're just reporting 1 additional fatality on the news right now. The fire has burned over 110 square miles. They're reporting 5% containment at this time. So here at the Grass Valley Air Attack Base, it's been a very busy day. Why? Because all the other air attack bases have been smoked out. Of course, Chico Air Attack Base, right downwind from the fire, was smoked out. That was your closest base to the fire for fixed-wing air tanker operations. And even air tanker bases all the way down the coast or closer to the Bay Area, Ukiah and Santa Rosa, were also smoked out. Remember, these fixed-wing air tankers require 3 miles of visibility, VFR conditions, before they can operate. The entire fleet of fixed-wing air tankers is in operation here in California and spread thin throughout the state. The fires in Southern California are all being driven by the same wind event that's driving this fire, the campfire here in Northern California, the extreme winds. We still do not know the source of this fire or the cause of this fire here in Butte County. Now let's get into a little more technical detail about the science behind this fire, why this fire is such a unique case study, and how it moved so many miles so quickly. If you go and look at Google Maps satellite view from where the fire started down on Highway 70 on the Feather River Canyon, climbing up those canyon walls 2,000 feet and then racing 11 miles into the city of Paradise, California. You look at that terrain between the top of the canyon and the town, Concow Reservoir area. By the way, the fire jumped 2 additional drainages, Concow Creek and the West Fork of the Feather River. If you look at that area, it's a sparsely vegetated area. It's already been burned through years ago and or logged, but I think this is an old burn. However, that area was populated with what we call light flashy fuels, almost grass-like fuels, and very dry brush. The wind event, north winds, like I said yesterday, draws that Venturi effect very powerfully down through the Feather River Canyon. Vegetation, of course, we haven't had a drop of rain in months and months, so the vegetation is very dry. And every day that vegetation goes through a humidity cycle. It gets moisture, collects moisture at the night, and then dries out during the day. You get these north winds, Venturi effect, blowing down the canyon, that's the key. That's called compressive heating. Very much the same effect in Southern California, the Santa Ana winds. As you know from high school physics, as the air pressure increases as it sinks, it warms up, further drying out the vegetation. Now you've got already dried vegetation getting even drier, and you got these high winds. Through light flashy material, you get a layer of embers blowing about chest high and shooting across the terrain, causing spotting a mile down in front of the fire. That spotting starts another fire, and that continues to even preheat or dry the vegetation, more like preheat it, so that when the main front of the fire comes through, it just goes in a hurry. Now that the winds have shifted to a more normal direction, normally westerly winds, well, the winds have very much calmed down today. That's going to give firefighters a big break. But here's the concern: as we get to the winds blowing back in the normal direction, that's the opposite of what started this fire. This fire is going to back up into those very same drainages, Concow Creek and West Fork Feather River, and want to proceed to burn up into those drainages and catch all that timber on fire that was skipped as the fire just came through so quickly on the first pass from the northeast. As far as fixed wing air tanker activity today, we've had the 6S2s operating out of Grass Valley Air Attack Base here. We've had two very large air tankers, a DC-10 and a 747, operating out of McClellan Air Force Base, and I think we had 3 or 4 other large air tankers. These air tankers today are only able to begin making the line from basically the very heel of the fire, or the beginning portion of the fire, working along the right flank or the north side of the fire, and try to work their way up out of the canyon and towards the shoulder of the fire in the head. That's just been entirely too smoky of conditions and too dangerous to work anywhere near the head of the fire with the fixed wing air tankers. Helicopters, however, have been able to do a lot of rescue and recovery sort of work. So today it looks like they were able to, the fixed wing air tankers were able to get some line in around the Silver City area in direct attack. That means they're not attacking the flames directly on the fire, but backing off of the fire a little bit and starting to build some lines so the crews tonight can add to that and save places like Silver City and prevent the fire from further escaping to the north. This represents the 5% containment. So we'll keep you updated here as things progress. This is a very terrible situation in Northern California, the Camp Fire, November 9th, 2018. See you here.